My name is Louise Spokes. I was born in London, but my parents are from Buncrana. We moved back here when I was 16, so just finished my GCSEs and came back to Buncrana and did my leaving cert here. And then went on to Tech in Derry and Belfast Art College as well. I studied fine and applied art, but I was kind of in that weird group, the lens-based and sculpture category, which was just like everything, nothing. There wasn't a kind of specific discipline. So I did a lot of like installations, and I did a lot of darkroom photography and things that kind of mix darkroom photography with like found objects or like drawing on old crumbly buildings. Like Artlink was actually my first ever job. So I think I was 17, and it was back when Artlink was in Tullyhaven Mill, and they used to do lots of like summer art camps. So I would assist like mixing up all the paint for fabric printing for the workshops and helping out with like the week-long summer activities. So yeah, gave me my first ever job, and in the creative industry as well. So that was amazing. But then when I was on the board of directors at 126 Gallery as well, my mom was working here at the time. So we were both talking about different projects, working in artist-run organisations at the time. So that ended up kind of becoming a bit of a link with the two organisations, and led to starting up a kind of curatorial exchange. So some of the board of 126 come and curate the membership Artlink now. So I wasn't directly responsible, but I feel like I had a hand in that slightly, like putting up those connections a little bit. I don't really know what my primary medium would be at the minute. It kind of varies, and I'm one of these people who I want to try lots of different things. So if I see a new material, I'll buy it, try it out for a while. Like even during lockdown, I was like doing clay on my living room table and things like that. But I would say the things that kind of tied into my practice throughout the years would be darkroom photography, drawing, and glass as well. So I did lots of images on glass, and I did kind of fused glass jewellery making for a couple of years as well. And even in this show, I've got pictures that are drawn onto glass. So I've always kind of quite liked working with glass and with layers of images as well. So that ties in with the photography as well there, but building up layers in the drawing or photography. I'm interested in things that kind of either have had their heyday in the past. Like that's partly why I go back to darkroom photography a lot, because I love the actual object of kind of vintage cameras as well, and the process of developing a picture from start to finish and having that as an object as well. So the photograph is more than just an image, it's also the object as well. And that's kind of why I do a lot of hand-drawn images as well, because again it's a very physical process of drawing it and having that object at the end as well. So physically at the moment I make my work in my kitchen. So in the past I have had a studio. I had a studio at Engage Art Studios in Galway for a couple of years, and that was amazing. But over the last couple of years I've just been working from home. And it's kind of funny because this is the biggest project I've ever done, and it's also the most busy I've been in a non-art related day job as well. So I've been working basically evenings and weekends trying to get this done in my spare time. So some of the big drawings, they're nearly 2 meters by 1.5 meters. So they're the biggest pictures I've done ever as well. So those have just been pinned up to my kitchen wall. So for the last 2 years, I've had just giant sheets of paper pinned to my kitchen wall, and it looks empty now without them, now that they're up over here. The idea for the show came from a series of drawings I was doing early in lockdown of myself just moving around the apartment. So they were kind of layered over each other, of basically just pictures of me like looking out the window, sitting on the sofa, sitting on my laptop trying to work from home. So I started doing that, and I thought it would make a nice bigger series. I kind of wanted to develop it. And also I was obviously in the apartment a lot during that time, so I kind of wanted to do more natural things as well, like to bring nature into the apartment a bit. So that's where the first big drawing came about. So I pinned that up to my kitchen wall just to have something natural on my wall as well. So it was kind of something more interesting to look at. So it started with the kind of lockdown drawings and then bringing nature in, and then that kind of developed into more of a series about how nature can also save us but also kill us as well. So I think that was kind of probably at the back of my mind a lot, was like this kind of anxiety of not quite being sure of what's going on, of what you can trust, what's facts, what's fiction, and things that can be good but bad at the same time. It was a kind of weird time. So that's kind of the whole series kind of came about of that. So in the exhibition there's a few pieces based on sort of historical rumours of poisonings, but that probably aren't true as well. So I was kind of interested in that. It's like people say something might have happened, but it might not necessarily actually have happened, and that's kind of what it felt like a little bit, living during lockdown and feeling like not quite sure about anything. Is it safe to do this? Is it not safe to do this? So it was a kind of reaction to that, living with anxiety daily basically during that time. So I think drawing's really important, and I would say unfortunately through my kind of more formal art education I haven't really had that much experience with drawing, but it is something that has kind of always been an interest for me, and I think I've tried to develop that myself over the last few years, and I've worked with life drawing hen parties for a couple of years when I was living in Galway. So we used to like drive all around the country doing hen party events, and I'd sort of teach those. So it was like a bit of fun as well, but it would be just enough that I'd get a little bit of drawing every week as well. So obviously it wasn't the most academically challenging drawing experience, but it was really nice to kind of teach people a little bit, and you'd be surprised what people can learn even in a half hour drinking a pile of Prosecco. But then after that I also did ran all the Young Nudes life drawing events in Glasgow for a couple of years as well. So that was a Monday night, and you'd have up to 80 people there that would be drinking, listening to music and doing some sketching as well. So again, it was the same kind of thing. It wasn't really tutored, but it was a sort of weekly introduction to a little bit of drawing. So it was enough to kind of rekindle my interest in drawing. This is my first ever solo exhibition, and if I'm honest, I never thought I would actually do this. So I've worked in the arts for years now in loads of different kind of roles, and I've been on the other side of this, like curating exhibitions like through 126 Gallery and working on different projects, and that side of things does kind of fill the kind of creative need for me a little bit, like working together with people to do a project sort of feels creative as well. So I didn't think I would ever do my own show. I thought it would all be about promoting other people. But it's actually just been really rewarding to work completely on my own practice, to think ideas through to a kind of finished level as well. I don't know if this is the beginning or the end, but I do feel like there's a lot more ideas that I have now, and it's definitely got my brain thinking more like an artist again for the first time in a long time. It has been really valuable, I think, to focus on it, and I have got lots of ideas now, and the research as well has been incredible. Like even just being able to like kind of get completely immersed in books and stories that, like famous historical poisonings, and even now like when I walk through the garden, you're kind of more aware of spotting poisonous plants and things that I wasn't even aware of. So I think that's been really helpful for me, and it has definitely rekindled an interest in doing my own practice again, which be honest, I kind of didn't think would ever happen. I thought I was past that and it was purely the other side of it, so it's been great.